Hi everyone. I don't like throwing things in the landfill. Never did. North Americans send about 9.5 million tons of clothing to the landfill every year. Most of those contain synthetic fibers, socks especially. It's almost impossible to find socks without polyester, acrylic, or spandex, all of which are polymers and plastics. Synthetic fibers can take more than 200 years to break down, and they contribute to pollution and greenhouse gases. I try to buy only natural fiber clothing, and when I'm done with it, repurpose it for other uses. However, socks have always been a big problem. First, I always try to buy the same style and color socks. That way, if one gets a hole, rather than tossing the pair, I can set the good one aside until another becomes holey, then match them up for a usable pair. For the past 10 years, I've just tossed my holey socks in a pillowcase and have done my best to reuse as many as possible. For dusting cloths, Swiffer cloths, I've remade them into things like cuff extensions for shirts, hair ties, and even hats. And still, I ended up with a huge pillowcase stuffed with over 200 socks. That's about 25 pounds of fabric. I had to come up with a way to reuse them all. So here's 3 to 4 easy projects that can use up a load of old socks. So first of all, you just want to roll each sock into a ball. Just take your holey sock like this, and from the cuff end, roll it down to the toe end until you just have a little sock ball. Now you want to take another sock and stuff approximately 8 socks inside of it until you get like a sock sausage. Once you get all your socks filled, then you just simply start sewing them together. So you put the toe end inside a cuff end. Be mindful to keep the holey foot pads down in one direction, and just start sewing around the cuff and sew one sock to another. Just like that. Just try to keep it as even as possible, and you're sewing a cuff to a toe and essentially making a longer sock sausage. Now once you have a few sewn together, we're just going to sew them together in like a swirl or a snail pattern. I'm going to start with a toe end and sew it in on the sock, and then just start curling it around and sewing it together. And as you can see, we're working from the bottom here, and I have all the holes on the bottom, and I'm going to sew some of them up as I go. And just keep swirling around. And once it becomes the right size, it's perfect for a very firm and cushy chair pad. This is number 1. Here's a chair pad. Or we can keep going, so we'll keep adding more socks on there and keep sewing them around. So we'll just attach another one. cuff end to toe end. And then flip it over and continue to sew them together in a circle pattern. And once it gets a little bigger, I'm not going to make this project myself, but this is number 2. It would make a really nice and comfortable pet bed. All you have to do is sew some up along the outer edges to give it some depth, maybe 2 rows, and you can have a really lovely, comfortable pet bed. If you don't have pets, shelters may enjoy a bed like this. Or, here's what I'm going to do. I'm keeping on going. I'm going to use up all 200 socks and keep sewing them together. As I sew them together, it's going to make me a nice large Zafu or floor pillow, which can also be used as a papasan cushion. Be sure to sew all the holes in the socks as you go, and when you get to the end, we're just going to taper it in and pull it together to make a nice circle. And clean it up and sew up all those holes. And there we go. Beautiful Zafu. Now if you want to make it reversible, all you have to do is on the not so pretty side, you can cut a piece of fabric or use a rag rug like I have here, which I used up more fabric, and then I can sew this on to the other side and make it extra pretty and make it reversible. So here we have it, 25 pounds, 200 socks, 1 day. I have a 40-inch Zafu or a papasan cushion. You can have a medium-sized pet bed or 4 chair cushions. I hope you enjoyed this project on how you can use your old socks.